Our next guest expecting its AirPods to be a big sales driver. Dan Ives from Wedbush joins us. Dan, good to see you as always. So AirPods, I mean, I was interested in your latest note as someone that's so positive on the 5G supercycle for the phone, but the focus here was more on AirPods, which, of course, is not a negative if they sell well, but less of a positive than if it was the 5G supercycle delivering for the iPhone 12.
Yeah, well, I think it's both, but I really think it's the 1-2 punch. I mean, if you look at AirPods, we think 90 million units this year. That's up from 65 million a year ago. And we're seeing just strong demand going into holiday. That could be 5% overall revenues. And then you combine this with what I believe is a super cycle on iPhone 12 5G. That's really, in my opinion, what's going to really be the combo along with services that drives the stock higher. And it just shows that halo effect, that further penetration, services as well as AirPods, that's just in the early days of playing out.
The stock's up 50 to 60% already so far this year, Dan. So how much of that is already baked in?
Oh, I think we're only halfway through it, because to me, it's the biggest product cycle that Cook and Cupertino have seen over the last decade. And I think what you're starting to see is a re-rating on services. You look at AirPods, looking at wearables, and they're going into what overall is the biggest product cycle they probably have ever had. And it just comes down to numbers. 350 million of 950 million iPhones worldwide in that window of an upgrade opportunity. I think that's massive, along with what we're seeing on AirPods.
Steve, is this a stock whose multiple is under threat as the world gets back to normal next year?
Again, very topical. I sold some of my Apple earlier this week as well because I think there are other places to make money. I agree with Dan. AirPods are a big product. As a matter of fact, Dan has to eat some of his own home cooking there because he needs a set of AirPods instead of that old wired stuff. But yes, the multiple is very high. Keep in mind, this stock has had such a huge move despite having flat earnings and revenues. And while I do believe that the iPhone 12 is going to be the biggest product launch they've ever had in history, it's going to take time. I canceled my iPhone 12 order because my daughter's got it and said, hey, there's not really a lot here to upgrade with in terms of features if you don't need that real pro camera. So look, it's still a core position, but if you want to play the iPhone launch, play Skyworks, play Qualcomm, where their content is up by more than 50%, dollar content. Skyworks 2 to 3 times what it was in the 11 and 10. So those are the ways to play that, I think.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.